So, for those that don't know me, I'm Javid Thomas, co-founder of Race Equality Matters, along with the fantastic Raj Kilsiani, who's also the chief exec of Green Park recruitment firm, who sadly can't be with us today, but says hi. I'm also the founder of the Collaboratory, which creates collaborations to tackle societal issues that matter the most to us all. Before we start, a tiny bit of housekeeping. To help make our events more accessible, when registering, we do ask you for any accessibility arrangements we can try and offer to support. We do our best to meet your needs. Please bear in mind our limited resources, and these events are free. Closed captioning is enabled in the main session. There is also a link in the chat for captioning during the virtual breakout rooms, and we'll share that again later for you. The event is being recorded, so you can get a recording of this after, except the breakout session. The breakout sessions are not recorded. Okay. It'll be next week. You'll have a recording of today's event. During the session, as you'll notice, your sound will be auto disabled to minimize distraction backgrounds to others. So please share ideas, thoughts, questions in the chats, and we'll do our best to respond to these. Just to let you know, the chat will be extremely busy after the breakout session. So a heads up in advance, if you use some accessibility tools, there could be a lot of pings. So just to be mindful of that. Next slide, please. In the next 75 minutes, we will explore and collaborate on the topic of the upcoming Heritage Months and how your organization can acknowledge their importance, participate, and create impact. We have a lot to share with you. So as always, we will keep things moving. So you get lots of ideas and support, as well as keeping it interactive. There will be lots of interactive opportunities. So there will be polls. You will hear from our three expert speakers who will talk about the relevant months. There will be two collaborative discussion groups. Hear about an exciting new initiative to help support you during Black History Month or the other ones. And we'll finish by 1:45. And our target today is for those attending, contributing, you'll receive 50 plus ideas to help you plan your 3 Heritage Months. So that's the dream. Otherwise, no one's going home. Okay. So next slide, please. So a quick reminder, Race Equality Week is only 8 months away, so we're getting there quick. So just a reminder, put your diary 2nd to the 8th of February. That today's session, we will be asking your input into the theme. So there's a little that'll keep some of you hanging on a bit longer. So that'll come a bit later. Help us with the theme for next year. Thank you very much. Next slide. So for those new to us, a quick introduction. We exist to meet the needs and fill the gaps to tackle race inequality by providing ready-to-go solutions, which is on the slide, resources and tools to help change makers like you all in organizations across the UK and beyond. What we provide include how to do it right, implementation guides and workshops. We also run free virtual events throughout the year like this. All of these can be accessed in the solutions section on our website. So you can find all that information there. Next slide. These solutions provide you with the know-how, the skills, and the resources you have been asking for. Crucially, all our solutions are not for ticking boxes. So it's not to say we've done this. As you can see on there, they do make a difference. So as there's a solution for different challenges and different problems. And what I'm very proud of them, and why they work is because they're all built in collaboration with yourselves and those with lived experience. So it's a co-created with the community at heart. Some of these solutions take us 9 months to build to get right, and it's important we get them right. So thank you to you all. I can see some of you here today who've helped us, and some of you working on this year's ones as well. Thank you. Next slide. You tell us we do make a difference, and we're proud of that, but it's only possible because our mission is powered by partnership. Everything we do is only possible because of incredible funding partners committed to race equality. So a special thank you to Lloyds of London and Green Park for powering Race Equality Week and more. We're also proud to be supported and work alongside the founding partner Collaboratory, visionary partner BT, and the valued partners Autotrader, HS2, Direct Line, Amy, Edelman, Network Rail, and CMS. As a not-for-profit, our mission remains the same: to create lasting, meaningful change in race equality to help you all achieve that. For 5 years, we've proudly offered our resources support at no cost. But to continue, survive, and grow this vital work, we now need to ask for your support and partnership if possible. So if your organization shares this mission, there are several ways you can get involved to help sustain us, but also benefit yourselves. So the 3 ways include: there's commercial benefits. So like the ones behind me, you can become a funding or strategic partner. or you can access exclusive additional resources. We know there are many members here today. So these are members of Race Equality Matters. And if you haven't always joined, there's 157 organizations, and it's a small contribution. And then you get so much more resources and exclusive events and resources. And the third way is if you wanted Race Equality Matters expertise, so we can deliver our workshops or train you. We only do, what we know. We don't do stuff outside our normal areas. If you would like to find out more about any of these, there's some stuff you could book a Calendly appointment with one of us, or just go on our website and find it all. Thank you. So, as you know, before we start off, a quick opening poll to see who's in the room and a state of the nation, and we will go through some of these results with you and share them all with you afterwards. Thank you for taking part in the opening poll where we get the state of the nation. So, in the room today, 63% are, I think, diverse or an appropriate equivalent, and 37% of allies. The roles you play in your organisations: 16% senior leaders, 9% HR, 26% D&I. We've got 28% Race Network members and a fantastic 34% Race Network leads. What's also good to see is 20% have other roles as well, so really interested parties. So thank you all for joining. Have you been to a Race Network lead event before? So 50% of you have been once or more than once, so a very, very warm welcome back to yourselves. And then 43% are are new, so yeah, lovely to have you here. And then 8% say not sure. I will say jokingly, if you're not sure, you definitely haven't been to one. So, but you're welcome back, or welcome if you're new. Question 4. Has your organization done anything that's made a noticeable impact in tackling race inequality? So 58% of you saying yes, so close to the 60% mark, which is great. 70% saying no, and 25% saying not sure. The 58%, we'd love to hear from you, because we're all about shining a light on what's making a difference. So if you're seeing a noticeable impact, please do let us know so we can share what's working. Question 5. Do you feel your race network has influence in your organization? So how valued are the networks? So if we look at the a great deal at a good amount, it's 32%. So that's 1 in 3 think they are. Then there's 29% a little, and then not enough or not at all, 23%. So that's like 1 in 4 don't think they're valued enough. We really need to get these numbers up to give them value. Does HR and or D&I support your race network? So again, if we look at a good amount or a great deal, it's 56%. So that's more than half, which is positive. 15% saying a little, and then 15% not enough or not at all, which is a bit disappointing. So again, we need to be working, in collaboration with each other. Sort of sum of the parts makes the big difference. Question 7: how well do you think your organisation supports your mental health and well-being? So a great deal, 32%, and a fair amount, 39%. So that's 72%, which is really positive, because we know, the more diverse we are, or the more protected categories we have, life and the workplace does impact on our mental health. So it's good to know. Not enough is 8%, and not at all 2%. So that's like 1 in 10 are not getting the support they need from their organisation. Question 8, really interested in this question. Why do you think so many organisations find it hard to tackle race inequality? So the one that's highest here is they don't know how to do it. And that's why we create our solutions, to show you how to do it. And then the next one, 49%, they're not sure what to do. So again, our solutions are not only showing you what needs to be done, but how to do it. So that helps you a lot. 37% say it takes a long time and they lose steam. And I guess, we've got to keep the momentum going. All our things are quick to implement and make an instant impact. So that's why our solutions were born, because we know the long game doesn't work. 32% said it feels too hard. And again, our solutions tackle that. And sadly, 18%, so 1 in 5 think their organizations don't truly care, which we do hear from time to time. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Question 9, do you think being a race network leader will help your personal and career growth? Because we want to really value this position, this really important role in organizations. So 30% say yes, a great deal, and 38% say it will have some impact. So 68% think it will have an impact, and then 16% some in a small way, and then 1% not at all. And it's fair that 16% say not sure. But yeah, we really want to make sure that these do help you. And the final question 10, which discussion group would you like to run during one of the breakout sessions today? Because we've only got time for one of these, and it's really tight. But so 46% how to involve allies during the Heritage Month. And 54% just ahead is how to measure impact during the Heritage Month, and we'll come to that later as a breakout session. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts and experiences. Much appreciated. On to the next bit. So now on to the main part of the event. So as mentioned, it's all about the upcoming Heritage Months. So we'll be looking at South Asian Heritage Month, East and Southeast Asian Heritage Month, or EC, and Black History Month. We know things remain extremely difficult for all these communities. The COVID-19 pandemic just hit hard in terms of health outcomes for all. It brought a sharp, painful rise in anti-Asian hate crimes against the ESEA communities. And then just last summer, the UK race riots deepened those wounds. As communities clashed, trust was fractured, and in the middle of it all, so many waited for allyship that never came in the workplace. In the workplace, time and again, we were hearing people say, no one stood up for us, no one asked how we were, and we were just left to get on with what we were doing. This is why we want to put a focus on these communities and why the Heritage Months matter. And we want to keep these communities visible and front of mind at all times. So a quick poll, 3 questions about the Heritage Months. Thank you. So which of the following is your organization celebrating? So you can see high 80% Black History Month, South Asian Heritage Month 46%, and then East and Southeast Asian Heritage Month 22%. So they're all going up a bit from previous years, but as we see, it's a huge gap from the well-established Black History Month compared to the EC. But that's why we're here today, to try and shine a light on it and help and support organizations to do more. And so 54% you Race Equality Week. So that's good. But also there's 18% will be doing all the above. So thank you for that. Question 2, has your organization done anything impactful to celebrate any of the following months? So 77% using yes for Black History Month, 22% East and Southeast Asian Heritage Month, and 37% South Asian Heritage Month. So please do let us know, because maybe you could be a speaker next year and share with other organizations how to make a difference. And the final question here, which of the following does your organization have plans for this year? So 78% Black History Month, 28% East and Southeast Asian Heritage Month, and 42% South Asian Heritage Month. So you're ahead of normal in plans. So that's fantastic, and hopefully today's event will add value to that. If we just go to the next slide, please. So when are the Heritage Months? So the first Heritage Month comes is South Asian Heritage Month, which is from the 18th of July to the 17th of August, and we'll explain why later, why it's them dates. And then we've got EC Heritage Month, which takes place during the month of September. And then that's followed by Black History Month, which is taking part in October. We're going to hear shortly about South Asian Heritage Month and East and Southeast Asian Heritage Month, but thought we'd share, because we ask quite, where are these regions, or what countries come under which of them? So if we just look at the first slide, again, we'll share these slides with you after, or you can get a video. You can take a screenshot or a photo. I'll leave it up there for a couple of seconds. So that's the South Asian region. Okay, and the next one is for the EC region. They're the countries in there. Okay, so before we hear from the first speaker, quick poll. What's the population in the UK from the EC communication? This one, it is one choice, so there you are. So as you can see, it's quite spread. Here, quite even, so between 500,000, 1 million, 2 million. Now the correct answer is 1 million of the UK population is identified from the EC community. Okay, so yeah, thank you all for that, but it's good to know. I hadn't expected the numbers to be so high, but if you think about it, and we'll talk about being a hidden community in many of our organizations and communities. Okay, so we talk about, so our first speaker is going to be talking about this hidden society. and how we can support them. So I'm delighted to introduce Eileen Wada Willett, who is here to tell us about East and South East Asian Heritage Month, which will take place throughout September. The theme for this year is reframing resilience. So the theme is reframing resilience. Eileen is founder of the East Asian Girl Gang. She launched during the pandemic, and it's a dynamic and growing community of women of all ages and sectors tied by a shared East Asian heritage. Unfortunately, Eileen couldn't join us today, but kindly recorded this for us last week. If we can play the video, that'd be great.
Why is celebrating Easter month so important?
Thank you so much for inviting me to speak. I think it's important for all sorts of reasons. And I think the main reason for me is to help people understand our community, to help people see our community, to allow our community to be visible. I think our community has sometimes, as you said, been called the hidden minority. We don't tend to put our hands up either to challenge or to celebrate ourselves. And that's partly to do with, I think, being a large immigrant population. It's partly to do with cultural markers around not wanting to make too much noise, feel somehow culturally wrong. But I think that within the last 3 or 4 years during the pandemic, it became really obvious, particularly to the younger generation in this country who are born here or have lived here for all their lives, really. They felt that the rise in anti-Asian racism was so strong and so violent and so upsetting to them. They really felt strongly that they should do something about it. And from that, all these green shoots appeared, which helped to coalesce the East and Southeast Asian community. And through that, through celebrating it, through being seen, has allowed us as a community to become much more cohesive and much more able to both celebrate ourselves and defend ourselves as a group.
What challenges do people representing the Easter community sometimes encounter in the workplace, and what can organisations do to support the community?
That's such a great question, and I'm going to use two words that people may not have heard put together before. It's bamboo ceiling. So most people probably would have heard of the glass ceiling, which is something that some women, possibly many women, encounter during their working careers, depending what they do and where they work. The bamboo ceiling is similar, except it's it's an invisible ceiling that affects people with an EC heritage. So this is a combination of cultural differences. It's a combination of possibly accent discrimination. It's something that helps limit progression. And if you look at studies, most of which have been done in the States, but similar smaller studies have been done here in the UK, people of EC heritage tend to actually be overrepresented at school, at university, internships, graduate training schemes, and at the first levels of corporate. But when you look up all the way up to the C-suite, suddenly they've disappeared and they're underrepresented. So people be asking, why is this happening? And it is the bamboo ceiling. So something happens between the early stages in a corporate career and the C-suite. What is that? We think that it is possibly to do mainly with cultural misunderstandings. It's different ways of working. So to create understanding around that, i.e. people of EC heritage, gross generalization, tend to be people who will get their heads down quietly, work really, really hard. And if there's an issue, they'll try and work through it themselves. If there's an opportunity, they'll wait for somebody to say, we think that you're good enough to do this. Whereas possibly somebody with more of a Western mindset, whatever their heritage, might be more willing to put their hand up for a position. They might think, I'm not sure if I can do it, but I'm going to try really hard and I will. Or I don't think that's right. I'm going to challenge the boss because I've been taught to call things out. So it's a very different way of working. And Western workplace norms, rely on the values of assertiveness and some element of self-promotion, and that can conflict actually with the idea of group harmony, which is very, very powerful within East and Southeast Asian communities. So I think companies can do a huge amount around that in terms of creating understanding, whether it's through formal cultural competency or sustainable initiatives which allow an understanding and of different cultures and how they work to help promote those people that they thought were great enough to hire, great enough to really help progress, but somehow get stuck in the middle.
What would be your top tips on how to recognise and celebrate this month in organisations?
I love that because it's a really positive question and joyous question to be able to celebrate different cultures. Obviously, there's EC Heritage Month, and a lot of people, and there's also for our early spring, there's Lunar New Year, which a lot of East and Southeast Asian countries celebrate. And they tend to be the two times of the year that companies will just say, oh, we must do something to make sure that this community is celebrated and seen. It often involves foods, it often involves different festivities, and all of that is absolutely wonderful. But I think to make it really meaningful is to create, using those as kind of the starting point, is to create platforms and opportunities for people within their company that are sustainable, which lead to programs that last through the whole year, whether that's through community partnerships or creating cultural training awareness, and talking about different communication styles, maybe just investigating, different stereotypes and biases. We all have them, and it's not something to be ashamed about. Every human being has biases. Every human being will stereotype other people. It's part of being human. But what we can do is break down those biases and break down those stereotypes and humanize everybody. So I think the key thing would be celebrate, have festivities, but ensure that those are just a starting point for year-long or multi-year sustainable platforms and programs.
That was wonderful. So, just to let everyone know, so Eileen and the other two speakers today, there'll be recordings of everything which you can all have access to, be next week. I learned two words from her today: bamboo ceiling. And I can appreciate some people in the room. You got two ceilings, haven't you? You got the bamboo and the glass one. So, we need to make more noise around that. And the other one was joyous. I love that word that came through. So, but that was very powerful stuff. So you're raising the thing. So please do use her voice and her messaging should be like in your organizations during that month. Thank you for that. We're now going to go on to our next speaker, and then after that, we'll talk about what can your organizations do in the during these heritage months. So, the first Heritage Month coming up is South Asian Heritage Month. And the month runs, as I said, from 18th of July. That's a start date, is when the Indian Independence Act 1947 received royal assent from King George VI. But that's why it's the 18th of July, and to the 17th of August, which is establishing the borders between India, West Pakistan, and East Pakistan, now known as Bangladesh. And that's why them two dates are very important to that community, and that's why it's there. So we're delighted to introduce Harvinder Punian. Please unmute yourself, Harvinder. Harvinder is the program director for the South Asian Heritage Trust, where she leads on the national campaign for South Asian Heritage Month. She oversees communications and campaign strategy, managing a wonderful team of 30 plus volunteers to help make all this happen, and builds partnerships to ensure the month is an impactful and reflective of lived experience of the South Asian communities who are now living here. Sam, please spotlight Harvinder. Thank you. So Harvinder, are we ready to go? Okay. Why do you think it's important for organizations to mark South Asian Heritage Month?
So I think it's important when we look at the South Asian population in the UK, 1 in 14 people in the UK are from South Asian heritage. So when we think about that, that's our colleagues, our customers, and also the future leaders of our organizations. Yet so many are still feeling invisible in the workplace. Last year, someone at a South Asian heritage corporate event turned up in a beautiful sari, and they never thought that they would ever be able to go into their workplace in their traditional wear. And that day they felt seen. And I think sometimes that's what inclusion is about. So South Asian Heritage Month, along with the other heritage months, is about understanding. If we can understand each other better, we can work better together. And like Javid said, the tensions last year, which actually ran through South Asian Heritage Month, just shows that the workplaces need to be places that are safe, supported, and for people to be seen.
Oh, brilliant, thank you. And can I just say, there's so much disappointment by the community that organisations weren't looking out for each other, asking, "How are you? How can we help you?" We talk all about this inclusion, and again, it's that thing: Do I belong here? Do I feel seen and valued? So thank you for that. Can I just pick up? It's not a thing, but the sari thing is quite important. So when you think about dress down Friday in the old days, sort of thing, people would wear very Western clothes. Very rarely we see something, and it'd be noticeable. But I think shouldn't that be normal? If someone came in a sari or sort of African I use the wrong word, garbs or tunics, it should be normal, not everyone looking at that side. So that's when we know we belong. Sorry, I digress, but very interested. The theme for this year is roots to roots. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so roots to roots is all about where we're coming from to where we are today, and where we are going for the future. So when we look at our roots, we look at our roots are what makes us who we are. But we also have to challenge those roots sometimes as well, and ensure those roots aren't limiting us. So what we'll find during the month is some people will be honouring our roots, honouring their roots, and others will be choosing different routes, and many will be doing a mixture of both. And one thing we are doing this year as well for a call out to businesses is looking at the routes into and within the workplace. So it's about looking at, are your routes for South Asians fair and open, but also looking at how your processes help other people to honour their roots into the workplace as well.
That's brilliant. I know it's that quite often people are caught in between. You've got your original route, like you said, and then fitting into the place, and then you're holding both sides. So it's very difficult. But please, if everyone listen, think about the recruitment and the progression. How can we make sure that the community gets as fair opportunity as others? What can organisations do then during the month to make an impact?
I think we have to start simple, like keep it real. It's not about big budgets and fancy events sometimes. It's just about the intention of doing something real. Things that we have seen work in the past is obviously, like I said, understanding people. So creating spaces where people can share their stories. And that could be through panels, fireside chats, and a tea break conversations. Although I would say chai break conversations. But yeah, other things that we've seen, like we were saying about recruitment, and asking people that are currently in your organisation from South Asian Heritage Month, what were the barriers that they faced? How do they feel like they can't show up at work as themselves? And it's a time to ask those important questions to know what changes you can make. And we can't forget the celebration. The celebration is the fun of it, the cultural traditions, the food, the local performers using local artists to come into the workplace. But two things I do need to mention, whatever event you do, that we do find a lot of feedback on, is you can't just put it on one South Asian in the organisation. Every event has to have the resources and the support. And like we've seen before with all the Heritage Month, South Asia isn't just one country. There's 8 countries, all with individual cultures within each country as well, and the intersectionality in the South Asian community, the LGBTQ plus community, disability, mixed and multi-heritage, they all come with their own stories. So it's to ensure that. And finally, just one thing with the theme Roots to Roots is it's for everybody. Like, it's a great month to everybody to take part in, because everybody has their own roots and everybody has a journey they're going on. So it's a great chance to get everybody involved.
Brilliant, thank you. And can I share? So I know a lot of organizations may have working groups on this, but please, allies, be part of them working groups. As I said, it's sharing the work, and then also it'll encourage others to join, because this is on one shoulder and it's just for one group. It's for our organization to enjoy, and then actually after the month keeps things going. Don't put it away in the bag for that. So that's fantastic. Thank you very much for that. And a bit later we'll have our third speaker, Beju, joining us. Now's your chance to collaborate with each other. So the question is, what can you do during the Heritage Month. So what can your organization do during the Heritage Month? So you can see the three themes up there: roots to roots, reframing resilience, standing firm in power and pride. But what can your organization do for Heritage Month? And quite often you can do, you can it can replicate across them all, sort of thing. So you're going to go into little to small groups for 7 minutes. Don't spend time introducing yourselves, because that'll be more than your 7 minutes, but just go straight into it. And if someone can make sure everyone has a fair chance of speaking, we appreciate some people might just want to be listening. That's fine. Nice to have cameras on, but if you have it off, that's fine. In the chat now is a link if you need captions during it. So we'll give you a 1 minute warning if you can go into your groups, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. If anyone's staying on this side, please put your ideas or thoughts in the chat. That would be great. Okay, so we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you. As people come back, I'm just going to say that there was one organization in our room. I think they're cramming about a year's worth of activity in a month. So good luck to them. So I look forward to seeing them. So thank you for sharing. If what I said, we're all about collaboration. So obviously you would have heard some thoughts and ideas in your groups. If you could just go in the chat and just type thoughts and ideas or what you're planning to do. Don't worry about typing mistakes or spellings. Do it as bullet points. We'll collate it all. We'll tidy it up. We'll anonymize it, and then we'll create a document to share it with you all. Okay, so we'll get this turned around for you mostly next week. A document with all ideas, and obviously some are quite unique. So in our one we had Bollywood, obviously for South Asian Heritage Month, but obviously someone said, why don't you get local performers coming to talk about it? I know some organizations do what they call local historical walks. So in London, you could do a Black History historical walk around London, sort of thing. So it's a whole range of things. So if you can do it in there, remember I said no one could go home until we've got 50 plus ideas. I think we've got 19 so far. There'll be another chance later as well for something else as well. So, but this is all about collaboration. So thank you to my group for sharing that. Harvinder, I'm going to just, can you unmute? So I'm going to just give you, do you want 20 seconds just to say what you said about the colleges?
So this isn't public, so please.
Okay, no, don't worry. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
It's fine. Okay, that's fine. I do apologize. Sorry. Anyway, coming soon. How about that? Is that fair to say? Okay, I do apologize. Thank you very much. Okay, so what we want to do is look at isn't it next slide, Sam, please? Is it photo time? So actually, I know some of you got your cameras off, so but please put your camera on if you just want your photo taken. So it's not individual, it's a group photo. So we're just going to sort of share and amplify this word, this kaleidoscope of communities here. So if you have your camera on, I can see some people have actually gone to them hairdressers this morning, especially for it. Can I just say, one of you still got your rollers in? I just don't embarrass you, but that's what's happening. I can see some people checking their hair now, can't they? So if we could do that, Davina is going to have a go at trying to capture some. So we'll give it a few seconds, and that, obviously, if you don't want your camera on, that's fine. But again, we just want to show, we had this event. We'll share some of the findings from it. We'll share the videos, but again, we just want to show there's a whole community here.
Thank you. I'm done.
Well done, brilliant, well done. Thank you all for that. So for those that did go to the hairdresser, the makeup artist, do thank them because they've done a good job on you all. Okay, thank you for that. So, as I said, we want you to sort of contribute to the theme for Race Equality Week next year. So, there's a quick poll. You can tick, hopefully we've got this set up right. You can tick as many as you want. So basically the theme for next year, let's see what you all think. So we're working on this for a bit of time, getting a lot of feedback. So there's a poll, there's about 6 or 7 responses. If you can just tick as many as you can, that would grab you. So, you're having to say what theme would work for you and your organization, or themes for next year. Remember, you pressing the button answering the question could be the deciding factor. There's something very close together. Got 2 and 58%, just to let you know. I'm going to give like 10 more seconds. One's gone to 59%. Well, 3 are on 59%. Wow. Okay. Right. See one more person. Press that button. Okay, now I'll just share the results. Okay, and poll share results. So we'll work on this. As you can see here, progress, not perfection's got 58%. Change needs all of us, 57%, and at the bottom, equality every day, 57%. So there's 3 that are very, very, very close there. So we were looking at, ideally what we try to get is something like close to the 80% mark, because we know nearly everyone wants it. So this is kind of mixed. So we'll keep on working it, but there'll be something along one, it seems, if not one of these will come through in the end. So thank you all for doing that. Much appreciated. So, now I'm delighted to welcome our third speaker, Pedro Abucci, also Pedro the Spark Abucci. If you can unmute yourself, that'd be fantastic, with a focus on Black History Month. Pedro has been engaged with the REM community for a number of years now, and it's great to have her speaking today. She's a poet, a speaker, a writer, and educator of 20 plus years. She's passionate about empowering individuals and communities, and importantly, organizations to ignite their inner spark by shaping how they live, love, and lead. Black History Month is now really established in the UK, and as most of us will know, takes place during the month of October. This year's theme for Black History Month is standing firm in power and pride. So thank you, Pedro. If we could spotlight, fantastic. So first question, how can organizations create a truly impactful Black History Month using the theme standing firm in power and pride?
That is a great question. Good afternoon to everyone. I would say first and foremost, don't treat Black History Month in silo as an island that you only visit once a year. I would say to see it as a continuation, a chapter in an ongoing story of growth and recognition and truly cultural shifting things. Reflect on last year. I love the theme last year, reclaiming narratives. So think back. What narratives did you rename? What practices did you embed? Let those be your foundation, not a one-off moment, but groundwork for deeper impact this year. I think it's really important that your people with lived experiences want to know that they're seen, that they're heard, they're valued and respected, and even more importantly, that they and their stories are treasured.
Thank you. We have more allies than we think. So how do we activate them and engage them meaningfully?
Mm. So I would answer this in two ways. There's a two-pronged approach that I want to share.
Mm,
Firstly, from the organizational point of view, I would say there are many allies who are hesitant about really getting in fully, about bringing their whole selves into the conversation. They're afraid about getting it wrong, about
mm,
making a mistake. I would say the goal is progress, not perfection.
mm,
And I saw that
mm,
that came up
mm,
as your theme, possible theme.
mm,
The goal is progress. Treasure these allies. Again, they are not a tick box exercise. Allyship tick.
mm.
They are also people who want to know they are needed. So I would say allow there to be room for growth, for development, for making mistakes, for getting it wrong and relearning, unlearning, and learning. I would say for the allies, it's to ask yourselves,
Mm,
is allyship just a badge of honor for
mm.
you that you showcase in public? Or do you see this as a risk, a risky call to action where you're standing with human beings who have experienced prejudice and bias and racism and discrimination? Your role is really to step in, to speak up, and to make this world a better place where we all benefit.
Brilliant thing. And there's that word in allies and active allies. And actually, one of the themes for the 5 day challenge that we're building and for next year is on bystander effect. So, echoing what you're saying, Biju, if you see people, something happening, something wrong, step in. That's when you're an ally. Until then, you're not. So it's just a badge you pin on yourself, really, I guess.
Definitely.
Thank you. So, what are your top tips for organizations planning to have a successful Black History Month and not a tick box?
Oh, great question. I would say to start planning, give yourselves
Mm,
time. I feel like some organizations feel this sense of
mm,
we're just
mm,
breathing, we're just coming up for air. Now there's a new theme and there's a
mm,
new direction we have to take. Make it practical. You don't have to do it on your own. I would say something that has worked practically is to invite external creatives or poets like me, storytellers, to collaborate with the
mm.
organization. They're doing more of the heavy lifting. They're saying the same thing, but it's fresh and it's new and it's exciting. Another thing that has worked is to use book clubs as a form of learning. So I wrote a book called A Poetic Odyssey of Proclamations. It's all about the power of the spoken word. And organizations, ERGs, have used this book to really talk about the power of the spoken word. We love to talk about building safe spaces, and we all need that. But it's time to amplify brave spaces where your people feel empowered to speak up, to challenge, to show up. So you can do the book club, use a book where everyone's learning, allies are learning, people with the lived experiences are learning. You are decoding words and phrases that people don't necessarily have an idea about. Also, start a cultural celebration day. When you tell your people, bring your whole selves to work,
Mm.
you do something, start a trend where they come in their cultural clothing, they bring cultural food, they can share their stories. You can learn that we're not just one homogeneous group of
Mm.
Black people, we're varied and we're all equally valuable.
No, that's fantastic. That's inspiring. Paige, do you want to mention the name of the book again, please?
It's called A Poetic Odyssey of Proclamations about the power of the spoken word.
Thank you. And I think so if you after this, if you could just write it in the chats because someone's asked for it. So there you are. Thank you for that. And I think, like Pedro says, is reach out into the organization, also the community for contributors, like whether you want storytellers, readers, people to share that. So please do think about it. And remember, are what we doing, is it tick box or is it meaningful? I think that's just a litmus test you can take yourself. But ask and involve your community, but don't, Harvinder said earlier, don't put the onus on just one person. Just do it and educate. Allies get together. So thank you for that. So what we're going to do, Sam, do you think that thing's ready? That poll?
Yeah, I recreated just the
Yeah.
first question,
Yeah.
which was
So actually, so if we just because of the the other questions seem to right. If we could just answer this question, which are the ones that you're doing this year, we still get a good sense of and you could do more than one this time. Sorry, it was like forcing you to choose your favorite child, wasn't it? It wasn't on. Now we'll share this result with you. I think it's quite interesting. Marvelous. Right. Okay. Right. So you can see the results. So 80% here are going to be doing Black History Month, 46% South Asian Heritage Month, and 22% South and East, so East and Southeast Asia Heritage Month, which again shows how invisible some of these communities are. But the two scores are slightly higher than last year, so we're getting there. But obviously, we want them all to be into the 100%. Why aren't our organisations doing this? So thank you all for that. So we're going to have another breakout session. Remember, we had a vote at the beginning. So it's option 2. How can organizations measure impact during the Heritage Month? So I know Pedro said, and I can't remember if Havin does it, not the tick box. So how do you measure impact? So at the end, how do you know it was a good Heritage Month? And this is more than just having a food festival. Yeah, this is making meaningful impact. So you're going to go into go into groups, and if you could just share thoughts and ideas of what could be. So maybe some of you do measure it, or some of you may have other ideas. So if you can just go into your groups, we'll give you sort of like 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll share something help you for all your heritage months. Thank you. Please join a group if you can, even if it's just to listen to others. This is all about the collaboration. And it's how we learn from each other, okay? Okay. Whilst people are coming back into the room to keep this moving, if you could just put your thoughts and ideas of how to measure impact in the chat, that'd be brilliant. I said, don't worry about spelling, typos. We tidy it all up and we will anonymize it, so we won't put any names to it. In our group, there was a couple of great ideas using um, digital social media and stuff. But also people are saying people are tired and we need to keep the momentum going. So please share all your ideas in chat. That if you all put an idea in, then that means we'll have about 100 ideas we can share with you all. Okay. And there's, say no wrong answer. This is all about, community supporting each other. And then once we've done this, what we'll do is we'll share a new concept or idea to help you all in your Heritage Months with a slight focus on Black History Month, but I'll explain why. I'll give it another 30 seconds. So if you're like me, a very slow typer with one finger, you can get to the final word you're trying to type out. Brilliant. Thank you. Next slide, please, Sam. So on to some exciting news for Black History Month, but you can utilize this concept for the other heritage months. Is we know that many organizations and in our group struggle to implement impactful activities during Black History Month. As Paige, you said, people are leaving it to the last minute or this panic. So we've got plenty of time. That's what we're calling is get ready for the 3 various heritage months. So key factor tackling race inequality is for your organization to be able to talk about race. Hearing, knowing and understanding the thoughts and the feelings of your colleagues. We know talking about it can be uncomfortable, but it's necessary and we mustn't avoid these uncomfortable conversations. Many organizations struggle to create safe spaces for these honest conversations about race inequality. How well do you really know what your colleagues are thinking and feeling? Without meaningful dialogue that is heard and acted upon, we risk misunderstanding, disengagement, and the loss of valuable, diverse talent. By not doing this, there is a business impact. In a recent survey we carried out, 83% of employees said they've left an organization because they felt they didn't belong. 83% have left because they feel they didn't belong. A further 15% have thought about it because they don't belong. So think about that. That's, if my math is right, that's 98% of your workforce is at risk of leaving if they don't feel they belong in your organization. The message is clear. Your people and future talent are watching and listening. They don't want statements, blackout squares. They want to see real action. And I think someone said, like on the progress, not perfection. And Race Equality Matters can help fix this for you. And the solution is tea break. We might have to rename it as a tea break stroke char break. I did hear it. It's originated from Network Rail's Race Network. They're called Cultural Fusion. And then we built it in collaboration with the community and Mental Health First Aid England to keep it safe. Next slide. It was built to help organizations with limited capacity, limited budgets, and sometimes without the know how to, but make tackling race inequality everyone's business to understand the challenges and barriers ethnically diverse colleagues face and experience in and out of work. This is how you'll hear the honest thoughts and feelings of your colleagues, and you will foster a feeling of belonging. So why tea break or char break? For those who don't know what it is, it's a 1 hour themed facilitated discussion on issues that matter most to your people. The methodology and framework of tea break is simple yet powerful way to break down barriers, but create the spaces for meaningful conversations. Whether participants choose to speak, simply listen, or comment on the chat, the focus on psychological safety, respect, and support to hear the voices of your people. The tea break also, as we said, isn't a tick box or one-off conversation. It's a catalyst for change. It transforms talk into understanding, and then we hear understanding becomes action. We know it works, and we want to support you and encourage and enable more of you to run one. It's raw, it's honest, it's emotional, and inspiring all at the same time. 93% of attendees to tea break would recommend it as a good way to address and learn about key issues. 93, and this is average over a number of tea breaks. A further of these, 96% say it creates a safe environment. Think about that. 94% it encourages courageous conversations, and 93% say it enables you to understand the feelings of colleagues. That's how powerful it is. As a tea break trailblazer said, from the break room to the boardroom, the tea break gave every voice power, and every story a purpose. And there's more. 91% said it enables you to hear the thoughts of colleagues, and 72% now understand how they can support colleagues that they may misunderstood or not fully understood how to help. So to build on this momentum, we're excited to launch Tea Break Week and would like you to benefit from it during Black History Month. But I said you can utilize it for the other months, but we just know lead time may be difficult. And I'm delighted to say Green Park will be a key partner in making this happen. While some of you do have plans, as mentioned earlier, we know many organizations struggle. I think we saw about 80% of organizations don't know what to do for Southeast Asian Heritage Month. So how do you deliver meaningful activity during the month? That's why Tea Break Week is planned to take place as part of Black History Month, the 6th to 12th of October. So it's the first week. You can also use Tea Break for other heritage months. What makes it special? It's a dedicated time for organizations to unite across the UK. And all you have to do is host one. It's a week, but any time in that week, you just host one of these 1 hours, yeah, to create this space for honest conversations and accelerate inclusion. Or you need to do one and it just takes 1 hour, but with a massive, massive impact. So it's an activity to build, you can build in now to support your Black History Month plans, and your organization will be visibly and actively part of a movement committed to real change, not just corporate statements. We also know you want it. In recent polls, 81% said they'd like a week where organizations across the UK did run a tea break. 91% believe it will have an impact, and 83% said it will support people's mental health and well-being. So why can't we use it? So next steps and how we can help you. So we have a ready to go how to do it right implementation guide for the tea break. 1,025 different organizations have downloaded it, and between them, they have more than 1 million employees. Importantly, of those who've attended the tea break, 81% said from their experience they would use something they heard and learnt to address race inequality in their organization. So this is allies and everyone. And that's just from one tea break. Most organizations end up running a monthly after that. As another tea break trailblazer said, it sparked conversations we never ever thought we'd have before and unlock change we never thought possible. So that's the power of this tea break. Remember, it came from the race network of Network Rail. So they're the people that made this happen. So there are two ways to get involved. And during June, there's a third 33% discount. Option one is do it yourself. So you can access ready to go resources. So all the guides, step-by-step guides and step-by-step video. So you can access this and it's a £99 contribution, which helps us keep our work going. It's free for Race Equality members. Yeah, so if you're a Race Equality Matter organization member, it's free. So that's ready to go. Option two is where we can provide more support through the Support Plus package. And it's £249 for non-members, £99 for members. And the prices will be go up in July. So it's kind of early access opportunity to get it. So if for those that have the purse strings, you can say, look, we can make a saving here, 33% saving. You get all these resources plus the DIY package I showed you earlier. What's coming next is 2 training sessions. So a how to do it right workshop. So the project lead for your organization will train you how to do it and train a facilitator. So the facilitator who's going to run the tea break. We have to train one person in the first session and 2 facilitators in the second session. If you did the maths, it's only £80 a person for training, if that's the way you want to look at it, but you get a whole lot more. So in addition to this, you get promotional content to boost participation for your colleagues, ready to go presentation deck, and so much more. And finally, you have access to official assets to help your organization showcase its involvement in and out of your organization. A proud support graphic, an official Tea Break Week logo you can use, and social media messaging graphics you can use. It's all ready for you. To access all these resources, it's in the link in the chat. Now, I'll pause for a sec. If some of you still need more convincing, did you know that for every 100 employees you have, there is a cost to your organization of them feeling they don't belong? Remember, I said 98% of your people are affected. And this is because if you don't feel you belong, there's an impact on productivity, staff turnover costs, reputation, and also legal matters. And these are different sources it's come from. So what does it cost for these 100 people? So if you're a supermarket, retailer, NHS, the cost for just 100 employees feeling they belong is to your organization is a cost of £55,000 you don't get back. And if you're a professional services firm, the cost is £150,000. These are conservative costs. Okay, so if you're an organization where people don't feel they belong, this is what's going to happen. So if you do nothing, this is what's costing your organization. So the bottom thing is the retailers, and the top is the professional services. Now, many organizations, you could get in a consultant. And with a bit of training with them as well, it's about £22,000 to £25,000 to get consulted in to help create something like the tea break and run it for you. Or you can use Tea Break Week, and there is a little line in that there is the cost in there. That's how low it is. So compare it. So that small investment, you're saving that graph on the left-hand side. So next slide, please. So as I said, coming soon is so on the 8th of July, so it's only 2 or 3 weeks, is our first workshop to train people that want to run it in your organization. And then in September, we'll train your facilitators. So you get this, but you'll get all these other resources as well. If you're still not sure, there's a quick 2-minute quiz. If you answer the questions, it will tell you whether your organization should be taking part in Tea Break Week or not. It's a free quick quiz, and it'll just tell you. So in case you're not sure or you need someone else in your organization to double check. If we can just do a quick poll about Tea Break Week. So the poll for Tea Break Week. Do you think Tea Break Week is a good idea? I said before, 81% thought it was a good idea. And now today's sessions are our favourites. 90% think it's a good idea. 3% say no, and 7% saying not sure. So we'd love to see how we can convince you to go into the yes zone. But that's fantastic. So 9 out of 10 here believe it is a good idea. How likely is your organization to take part in tea break week? So likely and very likely is 38%. I'm going to take into account 18% are not decision makers. So obviously, 36% saying unsure, and only 8% of you saying unlikely. So hopefully, do go onto the quick quiz or onto the website to find out more, because as we say, up above, 91% or 90% think it's a good idea. I guess importantly, do you think, this is question 3, do you think tea break week could have a meaningful impact during the Heritage Months? So phenomenal 92% saying yes. So that's 92% believe they will. So this is why we need to use tea break, or in South Asian History Month, chai break. Next slide, please. So the 5-day challenge, which many of you may know about, is 5 challenges that take 5 minutes over 5 days. So we're working on a 2026 one because about 80% of you wanted more. So the themes that we're working on at the moment are stereotypes, communication styles, bystander effect, the allyship gap. And a number of these come, like Harvinder said, is, from our roots, it affects us like that. So basically, all we just want in the chat, if you're, we run draft version at the moment. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes to look at one of them. If you're interested in helping us and looking at one of them and feeding back, just write the word yes in the chat, because obviously it comes with your name, etc. If you just put yes in the chat, and then we'll get in touch with you. And this will be next week. So next Tuesday, we'll send out one of them matters themes, and you need to get back to us by the end of the week, okay? Because we're trying to get this all ready for you. In the meantime, there are the 5-day challenges where we talk about microaggressions, getting people's names right, different cultures. So do use them for your heritage months. They're wonderful stuff, again, built by the community. So thank you for that. So we'll share what's coming up soon. But in the meantime, if you just do a closing poll, this would be really helpful for us again. Thank you. And thank you all for helping us with the closing poll, because it lets us know what's working and how we can add more value or make things better for you. So the great news is, would you recommend today's event to others? And that's 95%, which is fantastic. So thank you all for that. Question 2, did you learn anything new today? So 96% of you learned something new. And we know your time is important and valuable, so it's great. You've shared with your lunch hour or taken time out of your day to come along, and then you've learned something, which is brilliant. Question 3, did you learn and hear things you wouldn't normally have access to? So it's a high 86%. So again, that's thank you to the wonderful speakers, because they just share some wonderful stuff. And also for the breakout sessions, I know the ones I went to were really rich in ideas and thoughts, and I know you all helped and contribute to each other. Question 4, did you hear or learn anything that you'll use? So, we're all about action and impact. So 88% saying yes, and a further 7% if you had the authority. So let's say that's 95% heard and learned something that they will now use. Question 5, do you think these race network leads events help? How do they help you? So 91% say gather ideas to benefit your organization. That's 91%. 54% personal development. 54% grow your networking connections. So that's wonderful. And then 28% your career progression. So thank you all for that. Question 6, do you think these race network lead events help? 91% help provide inspiration, 91%, and then provide hope, 54%. So it's brilliant that they're inspiring, and they definitely, I've really enjoyed today's session with the wonderful speakers and you as participants. And question 7, which of the following would you pay for men's support to help with? Because we know more of you are looking for more support. So 39% as a men's support to deliver a race equality matters solution, 20% for your personal development, and then we appreciate 31% wouldn't pay for men's support, and then 20% other. So we'd love to hear from you. So maybe it's your organization that's can support. So thank you all for contributing to that. Next slide, please, Sam. Thank you. So don't forget, if you want to access the training, do sign up to the tea break week. And as I said, it's our way. Can I just say, you can't, £83 for training of this quality run by REM expertise. You can't get it sort of cheaper anywhere else, but it's our way to make it affordable for yourselves, but keep ourselves sustainable. I really don't want us to be saying in about a year's time, or we can't keep going because we haven't got any money. Okay, so if your organization can support in one way, that'd be fantastic. And these are powerful sessions. Next slide, please. We've got It's Not Micro, how to tackle microaggressions in the workplace. Again, it's free for member organizations and a small fee if you're an individual or your organization doesn't want to be a member and pay for that. So it's how to tackle microaggressions, and it's a practical guide of how to do it, providing the skills. And then we've got the racing series, so race and social mobility. So a bit like the roots, so from different backgrounds does impact on our whole future employability, promotion, progression, etc. Wonderful three speakers, Peju, Havinder, and Eileen. So thank you so much for that. And I could see a lot of people wanting copies of the videos, so maybe I'll make it a Christmas album or a Christmas video thing for you all to buy in time. That please donate, take a screenshot of this or a photo if you want to make a small donation. It all adds up. We are not for profit. To keep going, we do need money if you can afford it, and we appreciate that. And also must say thank you to our partners because actually they're keeping us afloat at the moment. But again, it's not sustainable, and we're trying to do more and make more impact for you all, and enables us to provide these events for free. We don't want to be your wonderful audience today, but we do want to charge for that. And don't forget, you've got your 3 months coming up, and follow the organization running them, or connect with the speakers that spoke today. And thank you all so much for your time. Very kind. Thank you.